faced with choices that will affect all of our lives, the lives of our offspring, and those to come, 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 those to come.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Staver. This is Mondays with Mike. Mondays with Mike is our weekly video show where I answer questions sent in by you, our fans and viewers. This week's question is, Dear Mike, some friends and I were having a discussion the other day about grief. The question came up about how long is long enough to grieve, and then how do you know when that grief becomes destructive? I would appreciate any thoughts that you have. Talking about grief, how long should you grieve, and when does that grief become destructive? Well, there is no answer. You grieve as long as you grieve. Grief is just like happiness, just like love, just like all those kinds of things, is an emotion. This emotion is not unlike a thunderstorm, is not unlike a rain shower, is not unlike a cloud. They come in and they go. Some stay longer, some go away quicker. I guess the point that I would ask you to consider is, why is it important for you to quantify that and limit that? Now, as to the question of when grief becomes destructive, grief never becomes destructive. What becomes destructive is when grief moves into depression. And when grief moves into depression, what starts to happen is we start limiting activity. We become socially isolated. We reduce our appetite or increase our appetite. Our consumption of alcohol increases or decreases. When there's significant destructive change in behavior patterns over a period of time is when it's destructive. If our activities of daily living, we get up, we shower, we take care of ourselves, we go to work, blah, blah, blah. When those kinds of things are being negatively affected, then it's becoming destructive. Now, let me tell you when it isn't destructive. It's when it makes you uncomfortable. Just because you're uncomfortable that your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or your friend is grieving and depressed and doesn't want to go out and party with you anymore, or doesn't want to go to church, or doesn't want to do this, doesn't mean it's being destructive. Grief takes time. It has to go through certain phases and processes. And as long as there's not a protracted period where destructive consequences are occurring in a person's life, let them grieve. Your job is not to make them happy. Your job is not to stop that process. Your job is simply to support them through it. And then observe as time goes on as to whether you're seeing slow incremental emergence from that grief. If you don't, if it continues to spiral downward and things continue to get bad, then you probably want to intervene and get them some help. Until next time, I'm Mike Staver. This is Mondays with Mike. Take care.